Good morning, everybody. This is a website I'm going to be discussing on the effects of healing, and this has something to do with your penile gland. This is also dealing with the whole targeting situation that you're dealing with. Now, most of you may be aware of this. If you are, oh, hang on, let me fix this. If you are using the city's water supply at all, you're aware that they do put fluoride in that water. This is going to basically go into discussion of the effects of fluoridation on your penile gland. And for you religious folk, I'm no different in that category. But for those, this is very important because this is also dealing with the fact that of how these satanic occultists are trying to program people. You see, this whole thing has been structured to where they took things out of the general markets that would, basically your natural stuff that would be highly effective of fighting their tech. They wanted to take a lot of this stuff off the market. Prime example of what I discussed before was the what was that the plants that these criminals usually use from to make cocaine. Turns out the plant itself has some highly significant healing properties. Problem is, they wanted to get rid of it because it was too much of a problem. So what did they do? They developed a drug out of it. This whole thing was systematically structured on purpose. Even more so, it can't just be a coincidence that the same drug ended up in the products of Coca-Cola's beverages now, right? Now, here's what I'm wondering. People didn't say they put the that they put the coca leaves in Coca-Cola. No, they said they put cocaine in Coca-Cola way back when. And you can look this up for yourself. But that's not what this topic is about. No. So anyway, fluoride's effects on the penile gland. Penile functions, health outcomes, why the penile gland, calcifying effects, how to decalcify. It's very important you do this. Now, you may hear a lot of talk about them saying, calcium this, calcium that helps build strong bones. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but that's a complete lie. It's always been a complete lie. They tell you this so that because you got to think about it. Calcification, penile gland. Think about that. Calcium actually causes bones to break. Okay, it weakens your bones. This probably is the case for just about any bone in the body structure. It's either most likely that, and they say too much calcium can do that, can cause that. So why is it that one would think calcium would have healthy effects? Now, I haven't looked too far into this. Maybe you need to have just a small percentage of calcium for it to be effective, but they don't go into details like that. They just keep promoting, saying keep calcium this and calcium that. Same thing with milk. They say it's got calcium in it, right? However, hear me out on this. Human females produce milk, dude. Really think about this. Who was the first person that decided that it was okay to actually drink milk from a cow, from another animal? That milk is produced for its calves. That's not natural for us to drink cow's milk. And I'm not even trying to be funny here. I'm just being serious. Now, I'm not telling anybody not to not to stop drinking cow's milk. Do it if you want. But I'm just stating the facts here. The truth of the matter is that's an unnatural substance that was not designed for human consumption. That's coming from an animal that produces its milk for its young. That is for its calves. The milk that's produced by a human female is made specifically for humans, for the babies. So you see you see where this is going, right? That And that explains a whole lot of what's going on. Not to mention, there's been a lot of mysterious substances being put in the food. A lot of different types of growth hormone byproducts being dumped into a lot of the food that people eat, especially the food that kids will eat. I'm pretty sure most of you who probably have kids of your own have noticed a lot of odd behaviorism with them. A lot of strange things happening. They come up with the system comes up with excuses trying to say that these abnormal behaviors are just natural. Like it's just a random occurrence. No, these are the effects of this illegal human experimentation that they're doing on the population. They do this to everybody, dude. Everybody. ADHD is no different. What else? There's more than that. What is that known defect that is a direct result of vaccinations? I can't recall the name, but most of you most likely know what I'm talking about, because a lot of people got it just from dealing with those damn vaccinations. Okay, though the penile gland's unique features in floride's toxic in reactive nature, the fluoride-penile gland relationship was bound to fail from the start, resulting in the penile gland to become floride's #1 victim. Now, I want people to also understand, whenever they doing these temperature scans, you notice how they're aiming the laser at the penile gland area, like towards your head. These idiots don't know what they're doing. They don't, and some of them probably do, but they're just compliant with this whole with this mess, and they don't see it as doing any harm. Bullshit on all of it. That is doing great harm to you and anybody else who's having that being done to them. What does the penile gland do? The penile gland is a tiny pine cone shaped gland located in between the two hemispheres of the brain and outside the blood-brain barrier, BBB. The main function of the penile gland is to sensitize and secrete the hormone melatonin. Melatonin is then used to perform 3 main roles: maintain the circadian rhythm, sleep, wake cycle. Have you noticed that you have been going through sleep deprivation? Fellow TIs, have you noticed that you go through a lot of sleep deprivation from these attacks? That's key element number 1. So you got to understand, the water that we're using has fluoridation in it. So I'm just curious if anybody got any type of solutions. Is there a way to filter this stuff out of the water? Because that's what I'm wondering. And get this, they made collecting rainwater in a way illegal. They'll arrest you if you try to collect rainwater. They'll arrest you if you go off grid and you're not using a water system that's connected to the city's water supply. It makes you wonder what the hell's really going on, doesn't it? They are so desperate for you to use their water supply simply because they can't program you otherwise. They want to have that ability to poison you. They want to have that ability to keep you poisoned in order to keep you chained down into the matrix. I've broken out of it, but I'm noticing a lot of the crap that they put out there to basically drag you back in. And you're going to know, once you actually break yourself out of this cycle for the first time, you're going to see these things happen precisely because they need to do it. And that's going to be what's going to tip you off and letting you know exactly what's going on. Let me tell you something else. If you ever, this is why I said, if you're trying to detox yourself and you do get yourself unplugged, it's too dangerous to be in the city for these very specific reasons. First off, the water you're using is connected to their supply. Whatever they're doing to that water, and I've seen this happen before, they would cut it off, and there was other TIs talking about this. For some reason, they would cut it off and they would put something in that water. So you see where that's going. So if not that, then the fact that you leaving your home, they can just go in there, lace whatever they're going to lace. There's that too. Especially when you can't even trust the landlords, man, because either they get threatened not really the landlords, but like these these people who own these apartments. You really can't trust them at all, because either they're just being paid off to allow this stuff to happen. Man, just from experience, trying to rationalize, talk with these people, it's a wasted effort, man. It is, unless you know how to put these bastards in the position that they don't want to be in. And what I mean is having be able to talk them in a situation to where they can't not talk them their way out of it. Being able to point every single thing out specifically. This is why a lot of the police don't even want to talk to me because of that. This is why a lot of investigators don't want to talk to me because of that. And it's simply, and I've already proven this on more than one occasion. Not even my the damn people who were actually in charge of the last job that I was working at. They weren't happy at all, because it took them, I think, maybe like 2.5 years just to get me, to get me out of there. 2.5 years. Yeah. It's not in, and it's nothing to really brag about, because, like, I mean, you're fighting for your livelihood with that. All the while I was there, I was constantly being laced and poisoned the entire time by people who I was working near, man. People who are working in the same building as me. Being poisoned by my own damn fellow co-workers. How fucked up is that? And I'm not the only one who's ever dealt with that situation. Oh no, there's been other situations. You want to know why they were able to get away with that? It's because they utilized the fact that it was private property. They utilized that as a covert way to get away with with a whole lot of crap that they were doing, which in most terms they would have long since been should have been both fired and actually should have been arrested for some of the crap that they've done. Because dude, I've lost track of how much stuff went down there, but it's best to always move on from these types of things and not let them drag you down, So, number 2, regulate oneself of puberty regulate the onset of puberty in females. That's getting close to the whole growth hormone situation that's going on. I didn't even have no idea it would have effects with that. That's definitely growth hormones right there. So this is having a lot more to do with this stuff than I thought. Number 3, help protect the body from cell damage caused by free radicals. So what is free radicals? I don't know what free radicals is, but I guess I'm going to have a part 2 to this, and then I'll just go into discussion of what that is. So anyway, let's continue. When the penile gland is not producing melatonin or not enough of it, the body then cannot perform these vital roles. So this is showing a key element of what's also happening with your sleep. The other problem that's happening with the whole sleep deprivation is the fact that the fungus that's on your body, and plus the nanobots. Now let's analyze everything that they do. When they dump these chemtrails, right? And they will do this if you do break free. This is bound to happen, because I know this for a fact, because they've done it to me. When you break free from this stuff, I don't advise you to use no air conditioning unit. I don't advise you to use anything like that at all, simply because you don't want that stuff breathing in those particles that they put out there. So it's best to have something like that off if you see something like that happen. Also, if not even just that either, there's more to it than that. If you ever have a situation where your water cuts off for a brief moment, and like you basically paid the bill or whatever, but it's mysteriously cut off and you checked everything, they're most likely down the street fucking around with the water, the city's water supply, one of the fire hydrants or something, dumping this stuff in it. Now, I don't know if anybody has ever busted them doing this. I don't know. But that's another thing you want to do. You need to basically filter your water at that point, but it's not really going to do much of a difference because, well, even if whatever junk they put in there gets siphoned, gets filtered out, you still got to deal with the fluoride. The fluoride is still a major problem even today. So it's not even just that. You got to be mindful of what you're eating, and you got to be mindful of what products you're using, because even it's going from these hygiene products to even the clothes. Even some of the cotton in the clothes it has nano in it. This is how sinister this stuff is, dude. They want your clothes poisoning you. They want the hygiene products you use poisoning you. They want the food you eat poisoning you. They want the water you drink poisoning you. And they want the air that you breathe to poison you. This is how wicked this crap has gone. And the government is behind all of this. Who manages what goes in and what goes out, the food supply and the food chain, when it comes to being put on the shelves? Take a quick guess. You didn't get it yet? I'll tell you. The World Health Organization, the same WHO that wants a one world government. People pointed this out before, and they did get some people's attention, but it's just something that they just allowed to just fade in the dark. It just moved on to the next thing. I'm gonna tell you something. They got several platforms out there that's a major distraction for everybody, and I'm not foolish enough to buy into it, but I'm gonna tell you what these platforms are. Number one is YouTube, and even if we use it to basically, try to inform people what's going on, help them out, which is a great thing, you can't deny the fact that the major platform itself is also used to basically distract the public too. So we also got to bear that in mind. TikTok is another platform for that major distraction. They're probably using Zoom too as well. They had to have some people doing something because they didn't want them catching the people they were hiring to go fuck around in town while everybody was on lockdown. Which, when people got annoyed with the whole crap, they actually had people go charging into these hospitals. No patients, dude. No patients at all. None. All empty. And yet they're saying they got high numbers. Lie. Complete lie. People are being paid to lie, and that is the pandemic we got right now. It's greed. That is the biggest pandemic we have ever had, is freaking greed. People who are just being complicit with corruption, accepting money, and doing all of these despicable deeds and not even giving two dams about it. And people are dying as a result. People are dying because of this. I can only imagine the horrific events that are happening with the nursing homes. I can only imagine. A lot of people were saying they were going after the elderly first, too. A lot of people mentioned that. A lot. So, you guys probably have noticed already, some of you have noticed long ago. If you seen on my playlist on this channel, you'll know that there's a rife frequency there that detoxifies the penile gland. It basically detoxifies fluoride out of your system. There's actually two. There's one that decalcifies the penile gland, and there's one that defluorides the body as well. So there's two that you can use for that. They should both be on there in one of the playlists somewhere. You can't miss them, really. Okay, so when the penile gland is not producing melatonin or not enough of the body, then it cannot perform these vital roles. When these vital roles are not performed, these lead to a cascading domino-like effect in the body. Calcification of the penile gland. It was only until the 1990s a British scientist, Jennifer Luke, discovered that fluoride accumulates to strikingly high levels in the penile gland. More in the penile gland than any other soft tissue of the body. The accumulation of fluoride forms phosphorus crystals, creating a thick shell around the penile gland called calcification. Damn. That looks rather deliberate to me, if you ask me. Like, way too deliberate. Like, the fact that would happen. That looks way too deliberate. Resulting in less melatonin production. Why does fluoride accumulate in the penile gland? The penile gland has several characteristics unique to itself that attracts the accumulation of fluoride. Main reasons fluoride accumulates in the penile gland. Large amount of blood flow. Well, that's true. Also, it's a good thing and a bad thing, because it wouldn't happen if the stuff wasn't in your system and you have a lot, good blood flow. It wouldn't happen. You would be fine. But locate outside the blood-brain barrier. High calcium concentrations. That could be basically anything. That could be people putting eggshells in their in their shakes. That could be other sources of that, large sources of milk. Think about it though, right? Drinking, if you drink too much milk with all that calcium in it, right? Calcium will actually break down the bones. But this milk doesn't, we have human females produce milk at a certain age, right? Cows produce milk for their calves. Human females have babies. Basically cows have babies too, right? I hope people see the unbalance there. I'm not telling you to drink milk, but I'm just saying, like, I think there's something more to this than we don't know. This leaves the penile gland vulnerable and without any protection. You know what? Now that I think about it, it's a lot of questions that need to be done about that milk, because there was an investigation that was put out on it. People were looking into it, and they talked to some people, but they didn't want to even answer any questions. So if you're wondering what's going on, they're basically putting growth hormones in the food, dude. A lot of growth hormones, a lot of stuff that don't even need to be in there. So this isn't just something that's just being prepared like it's supposed to. It's being prepared deliberately how they just want it to be, for the people to just drink that crap, and it's having any type of effects. You want to know why so many people got programmed? It's because of what they're doing it's because of what I just basically just said. What they're doing to the products in your supermarkets, what they're doing to the water supply, the fact that they don't want you having your own source of water, that they want you to just depend on the water that they send you, and the fact that what they're doing with these cleaning products too, as well as the products that are used for your hygiene. Everyday use. Something that has everyday use, you best believe they're gonna have something in that to screw with you. Why? Well, look at how greed has developed over the years, basically, as a prime example. Some people are going to end up like, oh, you don't know what you're talking about. No, they're not doing that. Either that person's complicitly paid off, or they just don't want to get their own head out of their ass. I don't know how else to put it, but that's basically how it is. Stop doubting every damn thing and actually get off your ass and look it up for yourself. Stop being paid off, and just, accept the truth for what it is. Because I don't know what else to tell you, but, the future that, we as a whole, as people in this current generation, we're supposed to be the prime example for the next generation. Are we supposed to set an example for just, just go ahead, accept money being paid off to do all of these, despicable deeds? Everything will be fine. There won't be no consequences at the end of it. No. It's not like you're selling your soul to the devil's minions for anything. It's not like you're doing that at all. No, sure you're not. People live way too much in the now, dude. They don't think about the then, and they don't think about the consequences of what can happen as a result. They systematically just want to be in a comfortable position. They're too obsessed with comfortability to where they allow it to, tamper with their judgment. And here's the deal how I started viewing life. First off, a prime example, love, for instance, right? People throw that word around way too much, and they don't understand it. Understand this one thing. This is just a prime example. All words basically have powerful properties to them that people don't understand, and it's not that they can't understand. They just choose not to. They don't take the time to try to understand what the effects of these words could have. They don't actually look at the fact that, well, you could use words to hurt someone's feelings. You could use words to basically, cause great joy, or you can establish unnecessary ties. These unnecessary ties, I believe I've gone into explanations with these before. This goes into the fact to where, a man is attracting a woman, but you're not serious about that woman, right? That's misuse. That's a lot of misuse, and you're causing a lot of great harm than you would ever know by doing so. Now, for me, and my thoughts on this matter, it's the truth, but the great harm is being caused by everybody. It doesn't matter whether it's a man being caused by a woman or a man. It doesn't matter at all. It doesn't. People allow themselves to get married to people who they don't even love, dude. And they say they love them, but what drove them to cheat on them? What drove them to betray that line of trust? I mean, were they intended to basically go F the next person who wasn't their husband or wife when they said their vows to death do you part, in sickness and in health? Like, did that not mean anything? And if that's not, if that's not further proof that people misuse words, say things that they don't mean, I believe that this whole thing is constructed to where it actually brings huge amounts of misfortune to a person. But you see, it's difficult. It's a very difficult concept because it has the properties of bringing misfortune to both parties of that vow. And it doesn't matter even if someone is a victim. That's what's so unfair about it. I told myself that, I'm able to see these ties, and it starts when you become way too close with an individual. That's where it starts, and then it has the ability to develop into something more over time. This can apply to a woman to a man. This could apply to a man to a woman. Again, this is just a prime example. Now, we've gone to the part where other people who have also become notice of these ties have started to use these for their own gain, such as for their own greedy purposes and whatever agenda they want to put out there for the people. So, they basically turned the whole thing of love into a marketing tool. Basically trying to say, get this to show your love to somebody, and it's like you're, just you on your own. It's not even enough. Now we're at the point to where you need money. Just, and it's like, what is up? I get it, like, to be able to support a family and all that, but dude, when in the hell has money become the prime anchor for a relationship? Is that what drives love nowadays? Money? Is that really what that is? Because I'm just curious, because it just seems like everything dealing with a relationship, it has something to do with spending money. And no matter how I look at it, it's always been the same concept. Money has always been around there in some way, some amount of way. And I'm like, you know what? maybe it's just not for me. And I'm not saying, not being there for your partner. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying I think we've allowed certain structures to basically intervene its way into areas where it should not belong. Money should not basically have a say so on basically with its own standing within a relationship. That should not be the primary judge of a relationship. If two people love each other, then you would want to help one another to basically come out any type of rut that you're in, any type of systematic with chaos that you're in. You wouldn't just say, no, I'm just tired of this, I'm gone. No, you would actually try to work together and get stuff done. Another prime example how words are being basically misused because people make these ties but they break them. And honestly, I think this stuff has a huge, basically what I'm trying to say, I believe these type of ties have a huge more deeper meaning than people think. And then, when misfortune does hit them, they don't know where it's actually coming from, right? They just don't understand, a lot of this stuff that applies. And the thing about this is that, this world is far more different than we know. That's for damn certain, considering the fact of how much information has been suppressed, considering how long people have been asleep, since basically been asleep. And I don't like, me personally, I don't like the whole narrative that's going on, and I find that to even be a psyop, it's getting to a point to where they're saying both woke dudes and both not. I don't know if you all have seen this, but I'm seeing a lot of a lot of examples of people saying these women are basically going for woke guys, but then they're trying to basically label the woke guys as your typical mangina or your white knight, and I'm like, where the hell is that coming from? Like, seriously. And I knew something was off about this. I knew, and don't get me wrong, there probably are people who are like that, who are pretending, basically playing as woke people. But I'm like, hold on a minute. That sounds like a damn psyop. It does. Because when you saying woke people, what the hell do you actually mean? Are you talking about people who are just fully aware? Or are you just talking about people who are basically just claiming that they know what they're talking about? And you see, there's a difference. Are we talking about white knights? Or are we talking about manginas? Are we talking about any of that? And the thing is, you can't mix people like that up with people who actually are trying to help individuals out, because then you become part of the system doing that. So I've seen this happen. And, this is what I was saying before. I was worried about the MGTOW, the whole MGTOW situation, because I can't deny what I've seen. I can't deny what I've seen, man. I can't. And what I have seen is certain people out there. I'm not going to name anybody specifically, but I've seen people out there mixing these categories together. And I'm like, hold on a minute. So is that trying to say, like, if you're basically a woke person, that you're technically a mangina or a white knight? And the thing is, you in times like this, you want to be woke, dude. You want to be woke because, first off, you just don't tell them what the hell's going on out there. There really isn't. But at the same time, we also got to be mindful that there's a lot of disinformation out there too. You got to be aware of that, and it's best to be aware than to just allow the stuff that's to catch you off guard and by surprise. Remember, the one thing you don't want is that damn vaccination. Screw that. But at the same time, you need to be aware of a lot of these groups that are out there that are just basically just using the people for its own financial gain, using excuses to justify the means of what they do. But we know it's all bullshit. So I don't know if any other fellow MGTOWs have also heard about this, but after just seeing that, I don't know where that concept's coming from. That came, for me, when I first saw that, I'm like, what the hell is this? Like, where is it coming from? Like, what is this? First, we were on the subject of talking about manginas. Then, and first white knights. You know how we were talking about how they over caterize women and whatnot, right? And how they do that too much to where a woman doesn't really feel like that guy has a backbone, so she has the um more means to cheat on that person or just go off with someone else rather than that person, right? Because they feel like that person doesn't have the qualifications to basically support them. But here's when we get into another concept, and I have talked about this before. Some women intentionally go for guys like that on purpose, guys who they know is going to hurt them in the end. And I say this because these are the types of women who, I'm not saying all, but those types of women purposely do that for attention. They get all that stuff, what they want from the guy. Then when the guy breaks it off, where are they getting that attention from? Oh, her friends, her family, a whole bunch of people. The sky is the limit with that. And they intentionally do this. And I'm like, you know something? I believe attention has become a bit of a drug. I really do. People are so obsessed with attention that they do some of the most stupidest things you can imagine. And I, dude, I can't even make heads or tails of why they go so far for that. I just don't know. I really don't. Maybe people are desperate to connect with other individuals. But you know what also I call about that? And this goes back to the other conversation, the other video that I made when it came to people who hide behind the masks. This has gotten to a point to where people can't naturally connect with other individuals, especially with the opposite sex when it comes to stuff like this, because everybody's trying to basically hide behind a mask, not be themselves, be this character that society basically wanted them to be converted into. And because of that, you run the risk of basically normalizing this persona that basically they created for you, that you've allowed to happen. Not everybody allows this, but quite a lot of people do. And this has a lot to do with peer pressure. They're saying you got to do this, you got to listen to that, you got to walk like this, you got to act like that just to fit in. That whole thing plays a whole role in a person's life, a whole major role. But to the fellow MGTOWs who tune into this channel, I'm a bit worried about that concept though, because they're not being specific. That's just my only problem with it. They're not being specific as to what they're talking about, and they're saying woke guys are like manjanas. Woke guys are like white knights. These are not my words. These are just the words they're using. And I'm like, I'm not seeing the connection, and I'm trying to figure out what the hell's really going on. And I'm just seeing this concept of, this is happening. I'm like, first off, I already know what, how society is now, and I'm not dating anytime soon. And plus, I've already announced that on the other channel that, dude, this is definitely not the time for that. It just isn't. There may have been times for that in the past, but right now we're at that point where we got to keep on our toes, man, because this stuff, it's so unbearable. And here's another prime example. People talk about solutions on what they can do and how to stop this. People, please, these platforms is owned by the damn enemy. They're hearing every damn thing that you're talking about. Every solution you came out with, you're practically telling them this. Okay? When it comes to a solution of dealing with anything, yes, it's effective, but they also come up with some other way to screw with it. And look at what they're doing. Look at how many channels they've shut down. Censorship. People were talking about topics they really don't want out there. Did it stop them from continuing to talking? No. In fact, when it comes to stuff like this, when they try to get people to shut up, it just makes them want to even talk even more. That's all. That's the natural effect of that. People don't give up without a fight, man. They don't. But at the same time, people, all of us, I'm seeing individuals just completely stuck on their phones, man. Stuck on their phones, and yet all this stuff is happening on the outside. The scariest thing is that very few people protested on this stuff. And I don't mean just protested. I'm talking about very few people actually did what was necessary, what should have been done in their own neighborhoods to put a stop to this stuff while they had still had the chance to do it. We still have a chance to stop this, but man, there's already signs of military being in the neighborhoods, dude. And I'm not trying to cause anybody to panic. Don't panic. I'm just saying just be vigilant because you don't know what the outcome of that may be. Um Man, dude. It These things go so far, and I honestly think, and I'm pretty certain I'm right. So, if this is a psyop being ran in the MGTOW community, then technically there's a psyop being ran in the feminist community too. And I'm calling that out for what it is, because I believe, and I had my suspicions, and I believe I was right. They got some type of controlled agents in both groups, both of them. It doesn't matter which one it is. They got agents in both orchestrating the structure in order to cause a higher diversity, meaning they're going to basically talk some females in that group to basically do stuff that's just going to piss guys off, and they're going to probably try to talk some guys to do something that's going to piss them off. And I'm not saying, I mean, like, sure, basically, you know, treat others how they would treat you, of course. They treat you like shit, you treat them like shit back. That's just the growing concept for that. If they want equality, well, that's your equality right there. Now, that's not even what I'm worried about, though. The thing I'm worried about is that they're trying to, based off what they're trying to do in the same narrative, was same thing as before: depopulation, depopulation, depopulation. To the people who got the test, to the people who got the freaking, just the test alone, dude, I don't trust any of that stuff. I don't. Um, there's been occurrences to where fake, fake shot locations were around. You think the system didn't know about that? Man, come on, dude. They knew about that. They knew about all of that. They knew about quite a lot. But you see, I want people to understand this one main thing. What happened when the toilet paper shortage happened? People jumped on trying to scam everybody, right? They would go to these stores buying all that crap up, or they would go online buying all of it up and then try to resell it to gain a profit. And this is my prime example of this. Even if we were able to shut these people down who are doing this, who are mainly responsible for all of this, we've got a lot of people to deal with who are working for these individuals, and if not working for them, then just basically working under their own ambition and their own just with their own greed. That's going to be a major problem to deal with because it's going to be quite a lot of them, and it could incite quite a lot of instability. The current people who are behind this stuff, whoever they are, they just want to institute a new system out there of control. But that's not an easy thing to do. I don't believe they're going to succeed with this at all. I really don't see that happening. I see like a huge outcome of this the minute they make that mistake. The minute they make that, and you see, this is why they didn't just jump the gun and go straight for that, because they know this. They know people. They know they ain't gonna be able to just send police to a person's door to try to confiscate firearms. That's not gonna work. They would basically end up in a firefight. Something would happen if in a case like that, especially when you orchestrate shit like this. Come on, man. You gotta really, really be real with this situation. Because a lot of people, it's not that a lot of people don't understand this, but quite a number of people don't. This whole thing is just setting the stage, dude. And it's just as I called it out before. It's not going to matter who becomes president because that system's controlled. It's not going to matter. It just isn't. It really isn't. I don't believe any president who has ever been in that office. It was only one president that's ever been in that office, in the office of the presidents, that was ever out for the people. And what happened to him? He got assassinated. He definitely got assassinated because he was actually going against the control structure for the people. That same president, dude, he was going to blow the whistle on everything. On everything. His name, and I do apologize for this, his name does escape me. Either that or they're just using these induced attacks to get me to forget. I don't know. It's one or the other. But, that guy, I believe he died while he was in one of those parades or whatever. He was driving in a car and a sniper got him, unfortunately. This dude was acceptable to everybody. He didn't give a flipping fine fuck what the color of your skin was, dude. He didn't care. He didn't care about any of that. He didn't care about none of that. Didn't. He wanted to help a lot of people out. We're dealing with politics now that use race as as a justification to try to boost favorability, using money, flaunting money around, paying people off for votes, saying if I become president, I'm gonna give everybody this types of money. I don't want nobody's money. I want this corruption to end. I want people to be able to live in peace. I want people to actually be free and not slaves. I don't know about the next person, but living in America is not freedom, dude. It isn't. If you've seen this crap that I've seen, it's not the country that you're as free, and it's not the country of the free. It's the country of you're only as free as we allow you to think you're free. That's what it is. Because I'm telling you, people will be majorly surprised if you've actually witnessed half the crap that I've seen. The police are controlled, the FBI is controlled, the government's controlled. Every faction of even Homeland Security, all of it controlled by an organization that's been perpetuating crimes that is very, very beyond unethical. These several crimes can go as far as drug smuggling, human trafficking, especially that. They are heavily involved in that. Half the problem, unethical human experimentation, and people are paid to just shut the hell up about it. People are paid to just keep their mouths shut. People who would actually know and who have witnessed this stuff are paid to shut up about it, to not discuss it, to not give a testimony out about it, to not talk about it. And it's their silence and their complicity with this mess that is the prime example of why we have so many secret societies now. So many of these crimes being committed, so much of people being tormented, so many people being hurt, so many families who have lost their lives as a prime result of a lot of this crap happening. People who will lose a whole family will lose their lives, and people, these whole experts would just show up out of nowhere. These aren't experts. These are people running a psyop trying to blind the masses with a complete lie to cover up what really happened. I can't even look at every single incident that happens now as a common occurrence. I wouldn't even know if it's actually a murder or not because of what's going on, because of how much stuff is being covered up, because of how much is going on and how much stuff has been tampered with. And can we really believe every single crime scene, every single murder that has ever happened actually happened the way it did? Can we really believe that the actual person who was, basically busted as being the said murderer, right? Can we really say that that person was really the culprit in times like this, especially with what we know and what we know about this technology and what it does. It's scary when you find out about stuff like this. The fact that someone could have a mindset like that using this technology from far away, causing someone to do something like that, and then still being scot free to do it again and again and again. And people are protecting individuals like this every day. They don't talk about it, they don't blow the whistle on it, they're just complicit with it. And when they find out that someone actually is being victimized, who they thought was basically, not innocent, they, the whole, the whole true nature of them comes out. They cave in. They cower. Even when you show them the actual stuff and you tell them the name of your channel and stuff like that, right? You show this stuff to them, they, it won't even make a difference. They won't even care, dude. And it's not the saying that most won't, but they would just be too afraid to oppose the system they work for. I can only imagine what some people out there go through, man. I can only imagine what a lot of people go through. Now, for me, just for the record, in case anybody's wondering, no, I've never committed such any kind of crimes in my life, ever. And I don't intend to do such a thing. However, there have been occurrences to where they have used this technology on people who are not aware that they were target individuals. And as a result of that, those people ended up doing unforgettable events. These events involved the deaths of quite a lot of people. But again, the person who was controlled to do it, well, he either ended up dead or imprisoned, right? Or just sentenced to death row. But the person whose mindset that was projected on that individual is still out there. That's the problem with it, man. It's like these individuals took the game Grand Theft Auto and they've implemented into real life. And this has happened before. It has. And I don't know if you guys noticed this, but there was a kid who was obsessed with Grand Theft Auto. He actually, it wasn't even just a kid, it was an adult that did this too. There was a kid who actually stole a car and drove it down the street. This has happened multiple times too. And there was an adult who actually was just randomly running through town, stealing cars, jumping out of them, and stealing again. He would actually do this. It was a repeated offense. It took a while for the cops to basically chase after this guy. But come on now. Let's be honest here. Who just randomly does something like that? Who just randomly runs out, just carjacking people, not even keeping the car, just to keep, not even stealing, just to keep it, just to steal it, just to do it, and then to do it again repeatedly, like a kleptomaniac. Or I don't even know if that's even the right term for this, or an addict, I guess. Just someone who's addicted to the whole, either to the rush of it or just the very act of it. I don't know. But anyway, I'm actually getting too far off topic here, so I'm going to go ahead and finish this article up. The pineal gland also hosts the second richest capillary network right after the kidney, resulting... Oh, kidney, huh? That's big. That's big news right there. I remember Tony, I believe his last name is Polinesco. I could be pronouncing that wrong. If I am, my apologies. But the nano that is coming through your body structure, it goes through the kidneys, making its way towards the back, up the spine, going along the shoulder blades and along the head too, around your crown, creating some type of structure to where they are able to basically beam out not just the signal, but also being able to look through your eyes, hear through your ears, and so on and so forth. He said something, when it came to detoxing the nano, he said something about this stuff going through the kidneys. Fellow TIs, this is putting it to another situation to where it's becoming way too obvious. Fluoridation has a lot to do with targeting, a whole lot. Again, the penile gland also holds the second richest capillary network right after the kidney, resulting in lots of contact with blood through the tremendous amounts of blood flow delivering by the connecting capillaries. I hope I pronounced that right. Lastly, it does not help that the penile gland holds the highest calcium concentration of any normal tissue in the body. As explained in What is Fluoride? Fluoride's negative charged and reactive nature means it loves to react with positively charged ions in the body. So they put in a huge amounts of fluoridation in the water, and they have this whole advertising network to where it's saying always go for fluoride, not for fluoride, but always go for calcium, always go for calcium, always go for calcium, right? So what's the connection there? So the penile gland has a high concentration of calcium, but they're putting fluoride in the water, and they'll fine you, and even go as far as to imprison you if they catch you not even using it. And what I mean by not using it, I mean actually trying to harness your own water and bathing that way, you know? Stuff like that. Let me tell you something, the number one flaw that people are doing. You're letting people know, you're letting people see this shit. That's your big problem there. You're letting these nosy ass neighbors of yours see this stuff. What you really should have done, build a fence and then build that up. Because then, dude, come on. Anybody in the plane's not going to notice that. It's your neighbors. It's always been the fucking neighbors who are paid off. It's always been that shit. It has always been like that. Every time. It's always been like that. This is the same narrative they have that's been going on. They will pay people off to just make a bogus ass complaint. And it's just as I said, the pandemic is the very act of greed. That is what we are dealing with today. It's the very act of greed which brings the end result of this stuff coming into play, of what's all happening today. Every single bit. Everything from what you've experienced, everything from what you've witnessed, has all been the result of greed. The greed of people who have bought all of this malice against the people. So, lastly, it does not help that the penile gland holds the highest calcium concentration of the normal tissue in the body. Let's explain what is fluoride. Fluoride's negative charge and reactive. Yeah, I've already read that. Its favorite to react with, you guessed it, calcium. So the penile gland reacts with calcium. And they advertise a lot of calcium stuff out there. There's definitely something to do with that. Making fluoride the best suited substance to damage the penile gland. So, what's the connection with fluoride and calcium? Holds the highest calcium concentration of any normal tissue in the body. As explained. Hold up. So, the only thing I want to know, they saying it holds the highest amounts of calcium. So I'm really trying to put this together. It holds the highest amounts of calcium, and fluoride damages it. Making fluoride best suited the substance to damage the penile gland, which, based on this and other evidence, the National Research Council stated in 2006 fluoride is likely to cause decreased melatonin production and to have other effects on normal penile functions, which in turn could contribute to a variety of effects in humans. Health effects of penile gland calcification. Number 1, sleep-wake cycle impairment. When there is less melatonin produced, the first thing to take a hit is the quality of your sleep. You could say the production of less melatonin is the first domino, while the second is sleep. The extent this affects your sleep depends on the extent of which your penile gland is calcified. As the penile gland calcifies further, poor sleep eventually turns to primary insomnia. Once your body does not have the chance to replenish itself through sleep, the likelihood of many other health effects slowly but surely increase. With poor sleep, you take one step closer to the next health outcome. Early. Oh, no. No. That can't be right. That can't be right. I hope, just for you guys to know, this is my first time reading this article, but damn. Looks like I was right. Looks like I called the right thing on this, though. This does have a huge thing to do with a lot of these growth hormones that they're putting out in the food production. A lot. So, early puberty. In the United States to Canada, children are reaching the age of puberty at earlier ages than ever before. A trend that carries with it a serious health consequences. The next one on this list, evidence suggests that the fluoride exposure reduces melatonin levels and shorten the time to puberty. Now, the other thing I was actually noticing, and this could, a lot of you probably noticed this yourself, that kids tend to be growing up a lot more than usual, and it just doesn't seem natural at the age that they're growing up at. It just doesn't seem natural at all. Kids usually don't grow up until like they reach the age, as far as maturing, it doesn't really start to develop until like they reach past age 10 and maybe like 12 or 13. I say 13 is a definite factor in this, that they start to you start to notice the more maturity with them, and then after that, it's just to the point to where, well, they're mature. They're still a little bit obnoxious. They can be somewhat immature, but the mature starts to actually build up. But it also has a lot to deal with their upkeeping too. It has a lot to deal with that. So let's continue. Evidence suggests that the fluoride exposure reduces the melatonin levels and shortens the time to puberty. While the first published fluoridation safety experiment based in Newburgh, New York, supported the early puberty claims, as the authors covered girls living in a fluoridated community reached puberty 5 months earlier than girls living in a non-fluoridated community. Heightened risk for breast cancer. The way early puberty is linked with breast cancer is by being an established risk factor for breast cancer, influencing a woman's lifetime estrogen exposure. Swinging back to melatonin, the powerful chemical is also known to fight and halt the spread of different types of cancer with a unique effect on breast cancer cells. As melatonin is capable of disputing estrogen mediate pathways, resulting in a net reduction in estrogenic stimulation of cells. This means decreasing levels of melatonin in turn strips the body of ammunition it would have otherwise used to decrease breast carcinogenesis. I hope I pronounced that right. For years, researchers have pointed at the inhibition of melatonin on bright artificial light. Strange. I know Project Bluebeam is a thing. However, now it seems like a bigger and more preventable cause is the calcification of the penile gland, increases oxidative stress. As discussed in What Does Fluoride Do to the Brain, one of the several effects fluoride has on the brain is elevating oxidative stress. This typically observes in the subject's brain with 3 distinct characteristics. Fluoride exposure decreases the level of antioxidant enzymes in the brain, i.e. catalyst GSH/PX, NSOD. I don't know what that stands for, but there it is. And I will leave a link in the description so you can basically check this out for yourself. Now, understand, this is just an article, okay? Anybody could just easily have put this here. Anybody, who is willing to lie could have just put this up here, or this could be, in fact, true. This is where it comes to research, basically seeing what other people came up with, and also tracking this stuff down for yourself. So, I know for a fact fluoride does have harmful effects, without a doubt. But this at least gives people something to go on when it comes to their own research. Okay, so number 2, fluoride exposure increases the level of lipid oxidation in the brain, an indicator of oxidative stress. These toxic effects were reduced by similar treatments with antioxidant vitamins, vitamin C and vitamin E. Something told me vitamin C had something to do with this. Now it is probably that the increased oxidative stress observed in fluoride-treated subjects is related to fluoride's effects on the penile gland. In fact, it is even likely, as we know of melatonin's many functions, one of its most important functions is the role it plays as a powerful antioxidant, aka ward off and reduce oxidative stress. Just for the record, and I remember that Zacchaeus was talking about this. You got to be in complete darkness just to actually heal your penile gland. This means no light, no lights, no lamps. You can't sleep with a light on if you wish to heal your penile gland. It's got to be in complete darkness. That's the only way to do it. I've seen people sun gazing, but there's only one thing that bothers me with that. I'll admit it does have its significant effects, but the problem is they're dumping chem particles out there. So I guess it doesn't make a difference, really. I don't know, because either way, you're still breathing that stuff in. It's already in the oxygen anyway. So I guess a lot of people did say that has significant effects. You even find yourself to be less hungry than usual. I believe they utilize this stuff to try to actually get, trigger hunger a lot more when it comes to this stuff. It has the ability to actually imitate a lot of body functions, and when it comes to this stuff. This technology, dude, is very sinister. It is. Leading to more oxidative stress. The problem with too much oxidative stress is that it commonly results in neurodegenerative disease, Alzheimer's disease. How did I know that Alzheimer's was a bunch of bullshit and it was not just a common thing? The link between a damaged penile gland and Alzheimer's is very clear. Alzheimer's is a neurodegenerative disease which development of it's accompanied by changes in lifestyle factors such as a sleep disturbance. As mentioned, one of the main roles of the penile gland is to secrete melatonin and directly control circadian rhythm, the thing that helps you sleep. Furthermore, we know the penile gland has a remarkable antioxidant property in Alzheimer's. It's a disorder that characterized by progressive degeneration of the function and structure of the central nervous system. So, look at the elderly when it comes to Alzheimer's disease, right? And then think about it. They're still if this stuff has so many problems, why are they still putting it in the water? Why? Come up with something else. If it's for detoxing purposes, come out with something else, dude. But there has to be a filter that gets this junk out of the water. Problem is, I think fluoride is, I'm not even sure what type of substance fluoride actually is. I don't know if it's a powdery substance. I don't know if it's a liquid substance, but there's got to be some kind of way to filter it out. Got to be. Now, what causes degeneration damage to the brain? Oxidative stress. Neurodegenerative disorders linked to oxidative stress. Alzheimer's disease, Parkinson's disease, Huntington's disease. Without a fully functional penile gland, the inability of your body to properly recover during sleep and the lack of melatonin to fight oxidative stress in the brain is a perfect combo to Alzheimer's disease, which is exactly why recently reduced penile gland volume and penile calcification, accompanied by cognitive decline, the sleep disturbance have been observed in Alzheimer's patients. Something that needs to be addressed immediately as a current research reporter. At present levels, there are more than 47 million Alzheimer's patients globally, with the number projected to triple the reach of 150 million by 2050. Funny how that specific number is being mentioned. How to decalcify the penile gland. The truth about the fluoride is that it's nothing but bad news for the penile gland, as clearly we would like to avoid decreased melatonin production, erratic rhythm, or alternate production functions. The domino-like effect in any one of the three would lead to many health consequences. However, the solution is simple. Stop putting what hurts the penile gland into your body and start sending it things that will help it recover from the attack. The process is fully described in our fluoride detox guide. Now let's go to that immediately, because that's something that is definitely worth to check out. 8 ways I detoxed my body from fluoride, 100% scientific. A fluoride detox is one of the best things you can do for your health. Looks like this was posted by KCJ Kroll on November 8th, 2019. Last year, huh? Even though the fluoride is a known neurotoxin, makes your bones weaker and lowers the IQ of children, it's still added to the water. Toothpaste, I knew it. I knew they were putting that crap in the toothpaste. And cookware of millions of people. Wait, cookware? They put fluoride in cookware? I did not know that. Dude, what the F, man? Seriously? This forces health consequences individuals like yourself and I to take the right precautions to protect ourselves and family. The good news is that you're at the right place to take care of the issue. All information here is science-based and most importantly backed by real-life experiences. Why should I detox my body of fluoride? It is no secret that your health is the foundation of your life. Everything depends on it. How well we can perform at work. Well, we can be patient to our children, and in general, how much we can enjoy life all depends on how healthy we are. For example, take a second to think how much you enjoy life with. Okay, dude, you're getting way too much into this. Yeah, a solid foundation. I get it. Get to the other stuff. I'm not even trying to be rushed much here, but like I'm not a fan of reading too long, and this article is becoming a lot longer than I thought. How to perform a fluoride detox. A fluoride detox follows two general steps. Eliminate all fluoride exposure. That's true because you don't want to re-poison yourself with the stuff after you're trying to get it out. Number two, followed by actively removing all the accumulated fluoride in your body. FYI, this article won't be a lesson about what is fluoride. It's for those that are serious and want to completely eliminate fluoride from their lives. To make this as fast as possible, I'll shortly explain the step, tell you how to do it, and if you'd like to read more about a certain step, click on the highlighted blue text. Now let's blast through it. Part 1, eliminate all fluoride exposure. So this is going to basically tell you exactly what to be mindful of and keep an eye out what would most likely have the stuff in it. Logically, it makes sense to start with eliminating the substance that causes all the damage. The good news is that once you eliminate all fluoride exposure, your body will naturally start to eliminate accumulated fluoride. Along with this being the most important part of the fluoride detox, it is also the easiest. All you have to do to eliminate the different sources of choice of fluoride is to make a choice. A choice to drink different water, use different toothpaste. I don't even recommend using toothpaste at all, but that's up to you guys or whatever. Drink certified fluoride-free tea. And are you serious? Dude, just how much of this crap are they putting in the products? Damn. Now I gotta research the tea I've been drinking. Son of a man. Drink fluoride-free water. This is the most urgent step out of the entire fluoride detox. Since we drink water, tea, and coffee, and cook with it every day, fluoridated water is the largest source of fluoride you'll be exposed to throughout your entire life. Now, the best way to get fluoride-free water is to just use a water filter that removes fluoride. I knew it. I'm going to click on that too because that's also important, but I'm going to come back to it. As fluoride is extremely stubborn to filter, most do-it-yourself methods like using holy basil leaves, activated charcoal, and boiling water do not remove fluoride. The good news is, after doing this myself and making many mistakes along the way, aka buying bad quality filters that leak, break, and fail to filter fluoride completely, I've made the process of choosing a quality filter very easy for others. I think I've actually seen that type before too. With quality testing out of the way, the only thing you have to do is ask yourself 3 questions. First one being, do I want to pay a little more now but save a lot in the long run? The table below will explain what I'm talking about. Or what I think he meant to say talking. He missed the L there. This table will show you how much each filter would cost me over 5 years living with 4 people total, with numbers based on how much I paid and continue to pay for filter replacements. 0 water filter total cost $3,000. No, that can't be 3,000. That's like 31,000. Actually, yeah, 31,600. No, $31,064.55. Big Berkey, $894.68. APC, $192.05. So I get what he's talking about now. The thing is that you got to look at it from this fact. You know, you basically, for something like that, that zero water filter, that one's cheap, but it breaks easily. It breaks down a lot easier. So think about it. How many times are you going to find yourself going back purchasing the same product to get a replacement? And that's how they get you. You see, when it comes to some of these lower quality items, you know, it's really a scam. They purposely make this stuff, and they do this with furniture too. I've seen it. If you've seen companies like Restoration Hardware, or, well, I don't know about Restoration Hardware, but I know Pottery Barn. Pottery Barn makes their furniture out of some cheap material, okay? This is the fact. And you don't believe me, you could actually go, if you got a shop near you, you can go check it out for yourself. That stuff is made out of some weak material. And whoever is the craftsman of that, I don't think they know what they're doing, because they make this stuff in such a way that you can't have that as an everyday type of bed or an everyday type of couch. It's like something you would use in a guest room. It's very fancy looking, but it's made out of very, very cheap product. So if anything, you know, that big Berkey that's around $894.68, that one would be, I don't know about that big Berkey one, but APEC is only $192.05. Thing is that, you know, a lot of people abuse the market system when it comes to this. Everybody wants to find solutions, but like, you run the risk of being scammed and, you know, basically having this stuff break down at the last minute, and, you know, you're up ship's creek because you spend a huge amount of money for that. I'm not telling anybody to spend all $800 for a damn filter. It's not that big of a deal, but, you know, it is something worth looking into to basically contributing more to your health. Obviously, these numbers depend on several factors, like how many people you live with and how much water you use. However, the reality of saving money with a reverse osmosis filter or gravity-fed filter is true, whether you live by yourself or with 10 others. Here are the next two questions. How many people will be using the filter? Do I want installation or no installation? With those answers in mind, you'll know which filter is best for you when reading the recommended filter's description below. It's that easy. Zero water filter pitcher. Used for one person, used for two people. It's not recommended as filter replacements get expensive. More affordable pitcher options. So that one's more affordable, but it's just like I said, like they always have a catch to where something is also still expensive, and it's the filters. It's not the main unit. They want you to get that, because if you get the main unit, then you got to get the filters. This is where money basically rise up. Then there's Big Berkey gravity-fed filter. Used for 1 to 10 people, depending on model. Please refer to Water Filter Guide for more information. No installation required. APEC reverse osmosis filter system. Used for 1 to 10 people. Well water. Requires different model mentioned in Water Filter Guide. Installation required. While for the times you drink bottled water, I've put together a table of bottled water without fluoride. That's where you'll be able to search the fluoride contents of 114 brands of bottled water sold across Canada and the USA. Fluoride-free toothpaste. Toothpaste is an extremely potent source of fluoride, containing anywhere from 1,000 ppm to 15,000 ppm of fluoride. So what seems... Hold on. Didn't he just say bottle... Well, put together a table of bottled water without fluoride. Let me check that out. List of bottled water without fluoride in 2020, 114 brands. How much safe? Okay, so does he have pictures? Bottled water without fluoride. Fluoride in kombucha. Fluoride in coffee. Oh, wow. 238 plus. Foods that contain fluoride. Oh, man, dude. So there's 32 plus brands. Fluoride in coffee. 238 plus coffee. Foods that contain fluoride. Prescription drugs that contain fluoride. Oh, son of a... Man, they put in this stuff and not even just the water. They put it in everything. I guess I'll check out the foods. Largest list of foods that contain fluoride. Search 503 foods. In just seconds, okay. Foods high in fluoride. Raisins, blue crab, shrimp, chips, fries, gravy, oatmeal, broth, popsicle, wheat. I think I might want to screenshot that. Just for, yeah, I think I'll do that. I get the feeling there's a lot more. When it comes to fluoride found in the food levels, depending on the fluoride contents of the soil it's grown in, water it lives in, water it's made from, pesticides used for farming, cookware used for cooking. You don't have control over a few of these factors, but with the ones you do, you can keep some foods on this list. Fluoride-free, for example, if fluoride-free water is used for making oatmeal or broth, both would have low levels of fluoride. However, in most cases, people use tap water for cooking, and the highest level found within tap water gets absorbed into their food. Top 10 foods high in fluoride. Number 1, raisins, 2.34 ppm. Blue crab, 2.10 ppm. Shrimp, 2.01 ppm. Fries, 1.15 ppm. Potato chips, 1.06 ppm. Gravy, 1.06 ppm. Popsicle, 0.77 ppm. Oatmeal, 0.72 ppm. Broth, 0.70 ppm. Raisin Bran, 0.65 ppm. Food lowest in fluoride. Nuts, kiwi, sourdough, eggs, bacon, honey, yogurt, chicken, melon, and peppers. Now, nuts has no fluoride. Kiwi, no fluoride. Sourdough, no fluoride. Eggs, just 1% of fluoridation. Watermelon, just 1%. Peppers, 1. Bacon, 4. Honey, 7. Yogurt, 12. Chicken, 15. 3 tips on using the fluoride food table. Before you enjoy the table, here are a few tips to help you use it. Search the exact food. In fact, I need to take a screenshot of that just so I have it. Because so far, the only thing I probably did buy that I shouldn't have bought was wheat bread, and that was a while ago. I think I've long since filtered that out of my system, though. So, whew. Oh, man. Okay. Now, I just woke up, so how come I'm yawning? Strange. Looks like there's more to it to this. Yeah. Vegetables and vegetable products, 0.18. Seafood and fish, 0.31. That's the reason why I still eat fish, but tuna, light can, and oil without salt, drained solids. So that's not too bad. Started eating just tuna and whatnot, but I don't eat them out of the can, because of heavy metals. Onion rings, breaded par fries, unprepared, 0.55. Potatoes, hash brown, frozen, plain, unprepared, 0.44. Puddings, lemon dry mix, instant, prepared with whole milk. It's going to get to a point where people are just going to have to make their own damn cookware from home. And I'm talking about, how they used to do it back, way back when you basically make a mold out of sand and you actually burn and melt the aluminum or the whatever type of metal you're going to use, and then just put everything in place, and then it's just made afterwards. For people who don't know, it's actually quite simple. Let's say you're making a mold out of sand for a frying pan, right? Simple. The middle, you would basically have a round-like structure with a stick-like structure pointing out to the side, which is the handle, and you would have it, like the sand sort of going upwards and whatnot, right? You would have it going up a little bit, simply because you want that round, you want that round indentation, and then it goes flat. It has a flat top too. You want that flat indentation on it as well. So it'll be like roundish on the sides, just going up like a little bit of a hill, and then it'll be flat. Prime example for a mold. All right. I think I've pretty much observed enough of this. I'll have to check a little bit later. Just so people know. Wait a minute. Oh, I didn't know they had that. That's actually pretty damn good. I did not know that. That's a good find. Activated charcoal toothpaste, huh? Fluoride-free tooth. You know what? Let me take a screenshot of that, because that, if you don't know about activated charcoal detoxifies heavy metals. Now, the nanoparticles are made from some heavy metals. So, what I do know is that, I would take, not borax, but I would take like some, what is that? Some baking soda. And I would have that in my mouth with some water that's not faucet water, but some bottled water. And I would just leave it. I would let it sit there for a while, and I would actually feel the nano coming out. And I don't swallow that. I don't swallow the water. I just spit it out. Simply because that's another way to detox this stuff. But I didn't even know this is another way to detox it directly. Nice. I'll definitely be trying to get some of that. Now, Burt's Bees Purely White. Burt's Bees fluoride-free toothpaste. Now, I'm just going to go ahead and just show all of these. Has anybody noticed something just from looking at these brands? Now that you see these, think about the brand of toothpaste you're using in your home. I bet it's probably Crest. I bet it's probably Colgate. It's probably one of the two. Arm & Hammer is not even being shown on here, dude. It's not even that, and that's supposed to be the company that makes what is that? What the heck was that? That's the company that makes baking soda, a strong type of baking soda. But their own thing has freaking fluoride in it. Judging from the fact that it's not shown on the list. I'm definitely gonna try some of these without any shred of a doubt. Primarily that activated charcoal one, because I know what that stuff does. Okay. However, many teas contain 2 to 3 and even 6 times what's typically found in tap water across North America, making it important to drink for tea drinkers to be aware of fluoride levels. To help figure this out, you can search. Okay, so this could also pretty much go for any type of teas that are already made and are in bottles. So I'm gonna have to stop drinking. That's a pain, man, because some of the teas out there I actually like, but I guess it has a huge negative effect more than a positive one. Okay, so avoid using Teflon coated cookware non-stick. So Teflon coated cookware and non-stick pans have fluoride on them. I'm not joking when I say like they are really putting a lot of stuff into things, man. So now I'm finding out they put fluoride in the cookware. And guess what? They put nanoparticles in the cotton. Yes, they do. Yes, the hell they do. There's been a lot of mysterious things happening so far. 2 things I've noticed. There have been RFID tracking chips found in the masks, the medical masks. There have been RFID tracking chips found in women's bras. The sports bras thing that was also found out too. Um, Dude, I'm not. When it comes to this popular stuff, especially the shoes, you best believe they're probably putting that junk in there too. Oh yeah, yep. I believe they're putting that shit in the Jordans, the Nikes, all of that. Every major name brand product out there is probably going to have all this RFID junk in it. All of it. So the problem here is that non-stick cookware, i.e. Teflon, contains fluoride in the form of PCFS, perfluorinated fluorinated compounds, which has been shown to have a leaching effect during cooking. Well, that's obvious. Here are some quick facts about the PCFCs. Man-made compounds that did not exist prior to industrial civilization. Does not break down, accumulates in the environment and in the human body. Found in the blood of nearly every American. Increases the likelihood of cancer, weakens the immune system, and disrupts thyroid hormone production. What's worse is that the effect has on women of childbearing age. Study conducted by the AUCLA School of Public Health uncovered that women with high levels of PCFS in their blood had much harder time getting pregnant than those with lower levels. Anywhere from 60 to 154% likely to experience infertility, with infertility being defined as taking longer than 12 months to become pregnant or seeking medical treatment to become pregnant. So the next time you start cooking, what should you use? Avoid the use of Teflon and other non-stick pans and use cast iron or stainless steel pans. With little effort, a similar non-stick effect can be achieved. Try to avoid medication containing fluoride. I was surprised to realize how many medications contain fluoride. Anesthetics, antacids, anti-anxiety, antibiotics, antidepressants, antifung. Mother trucker. I was about to actually look into getting some antifungal medications because I know what this stuff is. But wow, dude. Anti-cholesterol lowering medications, anti-malarial, chemotherapy, arthritis medications, I don't even know how to pronounce that, and steroids. Now, I'm not going to tell you not to take your medication. However, since drugs contain fluoride can be a high source of daily fluoride intake, it's best to know if your medication contains it. To help you figure this out, you can search your medication at the drugs that contain fluoride. Bonus, get a reusable and safe water bottle. After completing step 1, you now have clean, fresh, and healthy water. And this is our thought: stainless steel, not plastic. Unfortunately, many people forget this step and drink water from a water bottle that leaks toxic plastic compounds into their filtered water. Now, I will tell you why you should get the bottle I have. High quality. There may be other bottles that look better, but with the one I have, you will avoid leaks, rusting, and toxic material is entering your water, which makes sense as it was extremely hard to find any bad reviews about it. Besides, you may be tempted to get a smaller. So if this is the case, I guess you could still like drink the teas and drink the bottled water, but you want to like put it in the filter. Put it in the filter to where it's filtering a lot of the fluor. I don't know if you can even put tea in it or something like that. I don't know. Maybe, but it may mess with the flavor. I don't know. I really don't know about tea, but water, you can basically put that in there, and after that, you can pretty much you know, have it to where just pour it in your bottle, whatever, your drinking bottle, have it in there, and at least you don't run the risk of plastics. But it gets to the problem because, well, that cheap filter we've seen, that blue container looking one, that is plastic-like. So I don't know if toxic plastics are coming off of that too. I don't know. Maybe they designed it for it not to, but don't know. Anyway, I'm getting basically, that's a bubble insulated stainless steel water bottle. So anyway, I'm probably gonna end this here because I'm getting tired of reading. If you hadn't noticed, but I hope this does help a lot of people out. Just to give you an example, and I'm not joking when I say that they poison a lot of stuff, dude. I'm not kidding. I'm quite serious about that. They poison a lot of stuff out there in the supermarkets, a lot of stuff when it comes to medication. They poison the clothing and the water, everything, including the air. All of this stuff that they do is designed to keep you stuck in and trapped into the matrix. This is the primary problem as to why so many people are plugged in and why so many people are being controlled and why so many people are still asleep. It's because of these main things. And you best believe that there's more to it than this. Anyway, link will be in the description if you guys want to check this out for yourself. Remember, anybody could just easily post something and claim it as facts. So it's best to also proofread this stuff, do your own research to, analyze this stuff over on your own discretion. But this is just to give you an example. Stay safe, stay strong.